Choose to do what you want when you want. Obviously, there's consequences, repercussions. And E is your emotions. Even though you might not yet know how to consciously control your emotions, you can begin to shift your emotions through changing your thoughts. Also changing your focus, by changing what you're focusing on. And also changing your physiology. By changing your physiology, you can also do that. So emotions. Okay. Next is your speech. You can choose to say what you want when you want. Even though a lot of us don't quite often think about what we're saying before we say it, you can. You can choose to say whatever you want when you want. Your speech. The T is your thoughts. This is the most powerful of your inner game. In a later webinar, I'll talk about the power of our inner game and outer game. And the BEST, be the best you can be. Be the best you can be, makes up your 4 powers, yeah, to create and master your own inner game. Okay, so begin to become aware of the behaviors that you need to achieve your outcomes. Believe about the emotions and the states that you need to experience. Think about the words you need to say in your own mind and out loud, because there's no difference to the brain. And your thoughts, which obviously is internal dialogue or internal speech. So I just want to take a second now just to, let's talk about a bit about beliefs that are holding you back. I just want you to write down one belief on a piece of paper that up until now was holding you back from achieving one of the outcomes that you wrote down earlier. Now, if there's nothing, then think about something. Maybe we just haven't yet thought of it. What's one belief? And again, if you're not doing this, you're only going to miss out. There's no point even being in the webinar. If you really want to take the most from tonight's webinar, and we're only on law 2, we've still got 5 laws. We've probably got about 20, 25 minutes left to go. Spend the next 30 seconds. What's one belief holding you back? Just one. Okay, now that you've got that belief, you know, I believe I'm not worth it. I believe it's too hard. I believe I love junk food. I believe I love chocolate too much. Okay, now I want you to cross that belief out. Cross it out. Just cross it out. And under that, I want you to write one new belief that's going to replace that belief. Okay, that's going to be more in alignment with achieving your outcome. And it might not yet be a belief that you yet have. It's not a belief that you have. It's a belief that you need that you might not yet have. What is the most important belief for you to have that will replace that old belief? The new resourceful belief that's going to replace that old toxic belief. Okay. Now I want to think about values, the importance of values, because if your values aren't in alignment, if you want to lose weight, you go, well, I want to lose 30 kilos, and then you've got your top 5 values in hierarchical dominance order, and you go, okay, my number 1 value is family, my second one is money, my third one is time, my fourth one is health. All right, if it's all the way down to 4th or 5th, then there's probably a good chance that your actions aren't going to be in alignment. So in your own time, not this evening, because we are going a little bit over time already, I'm going to invite you, just write down on a piece of paper, write top 5 values in order, okay? Because if they're not in the best or the most effective order, then we need to change those. We need to become aware of them first, and I can work with you and share with you strategies in the free consult if you choose to take it up, to begin to re-imprint and change your values, make them in alignment with your outcomes, make the beliefs in alignment with the outcomes. Now, one last thing is, what is the top habit that's been holding you back up until now from achieving that same outcome? What is one habit that's been holding you back up until now? One habit. Maybe it's drinking a beer every night. Maybe it's drinking too much on the weekends. Maybe it's eating too much chocolate. Maybe it's going to the gym and sitting in the sauna instead of working out. Okay, now I want you to cross it out. So cross out that habit. And I want you to write one new habit that you don't yet have that will replace that old habit. You cannot eliminate a habit. It's got to be replaced by another habit. And when you have this new habit and you have this new belief and you realign your top 5 values, plus you focus on your own thoughts and become aware and become in charge of your own torch, imagine the power, imagine the difference moving forward. Tonight when you go to bed, I'm not sure what you're going to dream about, but when you wake up in the morning, I'm sure that you're going to have new insights and aha moments that give you deeper understanding of the information I'm going through now. I know I'm talking really quickly and there's a lot to go through. I am recording this and you can go through this in your own time. So we've already talked about turning your shoulds into must, your try and I am. And what we do from here is we create morning and evening rituals. So we're not going to go through it now, but as an example, you know, how would you know if you're out of shape mentally? When we're out of shape physically, we can see it in the mirror. But what about mentally? Okay, so what we actually do is every morning and every evening is we have our belief systems, our values, our self-talk, and our habits that we want to install. And the first thing we do when we get up is we read them out loud, and we use an anchor to remember that. We're going to go through that in a moment. And before we go to bed, the last thing we do is we look at those. So imagine if every single morning that you got up, as soon as you got up, and every evening before you went to bed, last thing, that the number one most important goal in your life or achievement right now in your life, if that's weight loss for your clients or yourself, that every morning you visualize that, okay, and you added emotion to that, and you added affirmations to that, and you did that every night. Do you think that that's probably more likely to increase the chances of achieving it? You betcha. I guarantee it. And we know that that emits energy. Not only is it re-imprinting it at the unconscious level, so we're going to believe it, it's going to ingrain it, it's going to keep it in our awareness, okay, but it's also going to emit that energy. Remember, it emits that energy, and it's going to attract similar like energy. Okay, so that's law 2. The law of congruity states that everything you have in your life is a direct reflection of the way you think. Law 3 is the law of energy input. The law of energy input states that all energy consumed must go somewhere and will directly affect hormone production. All energy consumed must go somewhere and will directly affect hormone production. And this is where we talk about nutrition. This is where we talk about when we consume food and drink, the impact it has on our hormones. And I believe right now we're in the nutrition era. Nutrition is such a massive topic right now. For those that are in the fitness industry, you know, you've got your technical elements, you've got your nutrition elements, you've got your psychological elements, you've got your business elements, but right now it's all about nutrition. It really is. Okay, so let's talk a bit about the psychology of nutrition and labels. Like, for example, let's take Bo Zorko. Hey Bo, how you going? Now Bo, whenever I say Bo's name, notice how when I say somebody's name, it attracts somebody's attention. So if I want to get Caroline's or Ash or Arthur's attention, bang, we could use those names. So if you ever want to get somebody's attention, I know it's a bit of a, I digress there, but those of you who know me know that I like to digress quite frequently. So let's say Bo. Bo is not Bo. Bo is just a label that his parents gave him at birth, so that way when you want to communicate with Bo, it makes it easier to get his attention. And by law, obviously, you need to have a name. But Bo is not Bo, okay? Just like Bo is not his hand. His hand is just a part of Bo. Bo is not his foot, is not his heart, is not his brain, is not his mind. A mind is a part of him. It's important to understand that. So you are more than your mind, and your mind is only a part of you, just like your hand is a part of you. Okay, it might be a much more important part than your hand, but it's still just a part of you. Every word has a meaning, but everybody gives every word a different meaning. If I was to ask each and every one of you what your definition of success is, it would be completely different. And then if we looked in the dictionary, it would probably be different again. Now, who does that make right or wrong? Okay, there's 3 blind men. There's 3 blind men, and you walk up to the 3 blind men and say, okay, we're going to play a guessing game. I want you to walk up to this. I want you to walk up to this animal. I want you to walk up to this animal further ahead, and I want you to touch it. I want you to tell me what kind of animal it is, or I want you to tell me what it is. Okay. Now, if you walk up to the elephant and the blind man touches the trunk, okay, and then the next one walks up and touches the ear, and then the next one touches the buttocks. They're completely different. It's going to have a completely different experience. They can't see it. Okay. So we all see it from a different angle, just like the rainbow. Okay, so we see no 2 people see the same rainbow. So no 2 people are going to get the same word, the same meaning. They're going to be slightly different. So what is the meaning of diet, the word diet? I know a lot of people joke about the fact that the word die is in it. Okay, the word die is in diet. Yeah, that's cool, whatever. But the real problem with diet, which most people don't understand, is that the problem with diet, and to some degree even meal plan, is that when you think of diet, what does that make you think of? Remember, presuppositions. You can't think of positive without negative, at least at the unconscious. Okay, it makes you think about food. Now, when you think about food, what happens? And if you're not already doing it, what happens? We start salivating. Okay, when we start salivating, it creates a peristalsis effect. It makes us hungry. When we believe that we're hungry, okay, then to us we're hungry. So then what happens? We eat. Well, I'm salivating. I must be hungry. The most brilliant piece of marketing I've ever seen in my life is the Coca-Cola machine. One word followed by a question mark. Thirsty, question mark. You bastard, I am now, because it says, are you thirsty? Makes you salivate. You're salivating, so you must be thirsty. Absolutely brilliant. So the problem with using the word diet is that. That is the problem. So I just wanted to clarify that. And the thing about macronutrients, when you think about macronutrients, the problem, so many people focus on protein and carbs, but there's too many variables. I believe that if we chunk it down and focus on micronutrition, that is really going to solve a lot of the obesity problems that we have in today's. So, you know, and the problem with macronutrients is we understand the people, especially in the fitness in the fitness field, is that macronutrients, we go, okay, macronutrients, we automatically go protein, carbs, fats. Okay, fats is 9 grams, protein and carbs are 4 grams per 4 calories per gram. Okay, and then it starts making us think about calories. Okay, and then we start counting calories, and then it makes us think about food, and it's a vicious cycle. So if we focus on micronutrition, we focus on health, I think it's going to make a massive difference. So in the 3 pillars, when we focus on nutrition, we focus on psychology, we focus on mental vitamins. When we focus on nutrition, we focus on cellular nutrition and alkalizing and energizing, which I can talk about another day, and I'll talk about the exercise shortly. So there's 7 main metabolism hormones to burn more fat while you sleep, and I'm going to be redoing this webinar for those that joined us last time when it cut out. And we talk about the 7 main hormones to burn more fat. So your cortisol, testosterone, your ghrelin, your leptin, your thyroxine, and your insulin. Okay, and we talk about those and how they impact your body and how we can eat differently to influence those so that way you can burn more fat while you're sleeping. If I said to you, how would you like to burn more fat while you sleep? What would you say? Okay, so we're going to talk about that in a later webinar. Food paradigms from your critical period. So what I want you to do is, one of the first things we do is we invite people to become aware of what were the paradigms and belief systems in your household. Because before the age of 8, we spend most of our time with our brainwave levels. There's five degrees of brainwave levels. We spend most of our time with our brainwave levels in theta. That's why kids under 8 are so suggestible. You say something and they believe it. Santa's real. Awesome. Santa's coming Christmas. Okay, remember how you knew that nobody could tell you that Santa didn't exist when you were young. You knew that without a shadow of a doubt that Santa Claus existed. You knew that. Okay, that's because it's so suggestible. So the problem is that our parents teach us stuff. We learn our values, our beliefs, our core habits from them before the age of 8. So in your own time, not now, I'm going to get you to make a list of your top 5 belief systems and paradigms in the household growing up. And you will be absolutely surprised, absolutely stunned by just becoming aware of those, how much difference that's going to make in the clarity that you have and the belief systems you have and what you need to do to get the results you want. So, and this is true for all contexts. We all have a financial thermostat. You know, I realized a few years ago that, you know, I'm sure I can make a lot of money really quickly. A few years ago, I realized that when I was growing up, my mum really didn't have a lot of money, and every time that she got her dole or whatever that was, that payment from the government, whenever she received that, within a day she would spend all that money. We'd go out, she'd shop, she'd buy $300 something worth of food, and then she wouldn't have any. And I realized that I picked that up at the unconscious level. So what about in the context of food? Could you just go to the fridge and help yourself? Were you made to eat your vegetables? How many times were you told no? The more you're told no, the more you want something. So have a think about that and do that in your own time. And I guarantee if you're a personal trainer, do this with your clients. Talk about the critical period, get them to write the top 5. We need to work on those. You will find if they write the top 5 and they get them right, if you fix those, a lot of the other issues will be solved as well. So with the law of energy input, the fact that all energy consumed must go somewhere and will directly affect hormone production, there's 2 types of cravings. You know when you get a cravings? Okay, sometimes they're visceral and sometimes they're emotional. So what is a visceral craving? A visceral craving is when you have a craving, you crave something because your body needs the nutritional elements from it needs the nutritional elements from the micronutrition or the macronutrition. Okay, it's lacking something. Okay, it's lacking something. And an emotional is what happens is there's triggers and anchors. So can you recall a time when you heard a song and it reminded you of, you know, an experience or an ex-partner or something? Or there's a certain smell, or you're in the shower and you just have this random thought. That's called a trigger. Okay, so there's anchors, and it's all an anchor is a neuroassociation between an external stimuli and an internal response or state. And what that means is, say for example, let's say chocolate. Let's say you are upset, you're feeling a little down, you're feeling depressed, and you eat some chocolate. The next time you feel down, you feel sad, you feel depressed, and you crave chocolate, or you eat chocolate, then do it again, then do it again. Next thing you know, what's going to happen is it can work both ways. You feel depressed, automatically triggers you want chocolate. And the other way, if you eat chocolate, it makes you depressed. Isn't that fascinating? Let's look at it another way. Let's say you live with your partner, and you have a really crappy day at work. And you come home and you have a crappy day at work, and then you see your partner's face, and she gives you a hug, and she touches you, and she kisses you, and so forth. Okay, and then you might feel a little bit better. Then the next day you have a crappy day at work. You come home, you see your wife's face. Then the next day you go and you have 3 crappy